Welcome to a very special Alamo edition on Mission Park Cares.
And 186 years ago, a dictator, Santa Anna, laid siege to the Alamo.
If that sounds familiar, given what's happening in Ukraine, wait till you hear the words of Colonel Travis.
And here's what Colonel Travis wrote. To the people of Texas and all Americans in the world, fellow citizens and compatriots, I am besieged by 1,000 or more Mexicans under Santa Anna. I have sustained a continual bombardment and cannonade for 24 hours and have not lost a man. The enemy has demanded that we surrender at discretion. Otherwise, the garrison are to be put to sword and the fort to be taken. I have answered their demands with a cannon. Not only a cannon, but a cannon shot, and our flag still waves proudly over the walls. I shall never surrender, I shall never retreat. Now I call on you in the name of liberty, patriotism, and everything dear to the American character to come to our aid and help with our dispatch. The enemy is receiving reinforcements daily, and we will no doubt increase to 3,000 or 4,000 in 4 to 5 days. If this call is neglected, I am determined to sustain myself as long as possible and die like a soldier who never forgets what is due to his own honor and to that of his country. Victory or death. William Barrett Travis.
I am so proud of the defenders of the Alamo, and we pray for Ukraine.
Now let's take a few moments to relive the heroism of that day, March the 6th.
186 years ago, the Battle of the Alamo took place right here in the heart of San Antonio. The famous facade was built by early Spanish settlers on the banks of the San Antonio River. The mission was originally home of missionaries and their Native American converts until the Spanish authorities recommissioned the Alamo as a military fort. In 1835, Texan volunteers seized control of the Alamo and San Antonio as part of the fledgling Republic of Texas. Colonel James Bowie and his Lieutenant Colonel William B. Travis were given command of Texan forces to help protect the Alamo and its 100 men. On February 23, 1836, Mexican General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna and his 1,500 troops marched into San Antonio to retake the Alamo and recapture Texas. Over the next 13 days, Santa Anna's army swelled to almost 3,100 men. The day before the attack, Travis gathered his men and drew a line on the ground, asking those willing to die for Texas to cross the line and stand beside him. Only one man declined. Within hours, Mexican cannons broke the silence and rocked the walls of the Alamo. By 10 p.m. that night, Santa Anna ceased fire, and the exhausted Texans inside the Alamo fell asleep. At 5:30 a.m. on March 6, the deadly attack began. 3 Texan sentinels outside the Alamo were killed in their sleep. The buglers blasted their battle cry, and Travis marshaled his men, yelling, "Come on, boys. The Mexicans are upon us. Let's give them hell." Inside the fort, the Texans ran out of resources. They began filling their cannons with horseshoes, nails, door hinges, and any metal they could find to help repel Santa Anna's surging forces. During a second wave of attack, Travis was mortally wounded while leaning over the walls to fire his gun. He fell back, drew his sword, and stabbed a Mexican officer while a sea of Mexican soldiers scaled the Alamo walls. Then came a third and final assault. Drastically outnumbered, the defenders of the Alamo had no choice but to retreat toward the chapel and the barracks. As Santa Anna's forces took over the Alamo, he turned his attention to the Texans' flag flying above the walls. 4 Mexican soldiers died as they raised the flag of Mexico above the fray, and they began to slaughter the remaining Texan volunteers. Bowie was among the last killed. He fired his pistol from his cot and died clutching his famous knife. The last of the Texans to die were the 12 men manning the cannon in the chapel. By 6:30 a.m., the battle was over. For the next 15 minutes, Santa Anna's troops continued to fire into the dead bodies. The brutal cruelty of Santa Anna during the Battle of the Alamo inspired farmers, ranchers, and settlers around Texas to take up arms and join the rebellion. Less than 2 months later, Remember the Alamo became a rallying cry as Texans soundly defeated Santa Anna and his forces at the Battle of San Jacinto. The proud Texans once again raised their flag proudly above the Alamo walls, and still do till this day.
Welcome back to this very special edition of Mission Park Cares.
We're celebrating the cradle of Texas liberty, and we also want to celebrate the lives of the historic families of San Antonio, Texas.
Here's a very cool story about a German family from right here.
San Antonio summers are no joke. It gets hot. Really hot. Nothing is better than being in a nice cool room powered by air conditioning. There's a San Antonio man you can thank for that, George Friedrich. But to know his story, you have to go back 200 years ago. In 1853, when George's grandfather, Wenzel Friedrich, made his way to San Antonio from Bavaria. Wenzel was a furniture maker, but not just any furniture. He made cabinets from bullhorns and unique chairs. Many of them caught the eyes of head of state all around the world, from Teddy Roosevelt to Queen Victoria. Wenzel had 3 sons, Richard, Edward, and Albert. Now Albert followed his father's love of horns and founded the historic Buckhorn Saloon in downtown San Antonio, a popular spot for famous visitors like Will Rogers because of the bar room full of bullhorns and Western memorabilia. Meanwhile, Richard and Edward decided to continue the cabinet-making business and created the Friedrich Furniture Company. It wasn't long till they went from making furniture to making mechanically cooled cabinets, like a refrigerator, thus creating the Friedrich Refrigeration Factory. That's where George comes into the picture. He was the son of Edward, followed his father into the refrigeration business, and became president of the company. Around the same time, he was also named King Antonio XXIII by the Texas Cavaliers. In 1952, George and his team developed and created the world's first window air conditioner, a machine so powerful it could cool homes and office buildings that got very hot in the summer months. In his first year, more than 1 million window units were sold, and Friedrich Air Conditioning became a household name. By 1960, Friedrich factories in San Antonio employed more than 1,200 skilled workers. George Friedrich expanded his business once again, making the Friedrich Finance Company, a business to help everyday families afford window air conditioning units.
Right now, Friedrich saves you money 2 ways.
As the company's popularity spread, Hollywood star Peter Graves joined as the company's spokesperson.
Friedrich saves you a lot of money, and right now, that goes double.
Friedrich air conditioners hit the mainstream and were known for their signature catchphrase,
The energy economizer.
Thanks to the success of the air conditioners, George developed products like open air coolers for grocery stores and energy-efficient units for hotels. George helped make the Friedrich family name synonymous with quality up until his death in 1993. George Friedrich is buried at Mission Burial Park South in the family mausoleum, along with his wife Nina and his daughter Peggy Becker. George E. Friedrich, a life well lived and remembered at Mission Park.
As we walk around the grounds of Mission Park South, it's amazing how many family histories are honored there.
Now let's meet a young woman who's on a mission to honor someone who's very dear to her heart.
I'm here with Lynette Vega. How are you today?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit of how did you get involved with the American Heart Association?
I've just been really open with them about my father being a heart disease survivor and my fiance being a stroke victim, that when they started this new campaign, they were very kind in nominating me and 2 other people in San Antonio for the Leaders for Life.
But tell us a little bit about your fiance and what happened.
His name was Andy Dwayne Garcia. He was 29 years old when he passed away. He suffered a subdural hematoma, complications of pneumonia, and also an ischemic stroke. And I was at work when I got the phone call from his family that he was in the hospital, and I didn't really understand what was going on at the time, and it turns out that his family actually found him unresponsive in his bedroom. He was on the floor, they called 911, And then when I did get to the hospital, it turned out that he did suffer a stroke and he had head trauma. And then from there, he battled it for about 2 weeks and then ultimately passed away.
My condolences to you. Lynette, I see that you're holding on to a picture right there. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so this picture was actually taken during our Christmas party for News 4 San Antonio and Fox San Antonio. And I love this photo because it's our last Christmas together. And so for me, that means a lot. We took the time to coordinate outfits and colors. We really put a lot of thought into going into that party. It was beautiful to have that moment together and that holiday together for us.
You have a goal to honor Andy's memory. How did you get started and how do you plan on getting there?
I kept thinking, well, what kind of goal amount should I make? And the number 29 always surrounded Andy and I for some reason. He was 29 when he passed away. He passed away on March 17th, which is 3 days before my own 29th birthday. So that number was just always around us. And I thought maybe that is a sign that should be my goal. So I set a goal of $29,000. And I know it's a big number and I've never done a fundraising campaign before, but we're working towards that goal by asking folks for personal donations, asking companies for donations, and just really spreading the word. I've taken to social media, asked friends to share the link if they're able to, and if they're not able to donate, at least for prayers, because I believe in the power of prayer, and that if this was placed on our doorstep, then it's happening for a reason.
So if people want to contribute to your campaign and what you're doing, how can they go about that? What's the easy way to do that?
Sure. So the American Heart Association has set up a donation website. I've posted the links on news4sa.com and foxsanantonio.com in case anyone wants to go directly to our TV news station websites. The American Heart Association is also accepting cash, checks, anything that can help their nonprofit continue their mission of helping others.
How else can people support you in meeting your goal in Andy's memory?
The donation part is a big aspect of it, and then the 30%, that's the other, is actually through activities that I'm doing along with a team of coworkers and friends that wanted to pitch in. And so every week we're doing a different activity. Like this week we're going to host a virtual exercise class, and then next week it'll be, I believe, a CPR class. So there's different ways to go about it.
Lynette, thank you so much for everything you're doing to make life better in San Antonio and for all of those that are being touched by the incredible work that you're doing. Thank you.
Absolutely. I appreciate it so much to your viewers and so much to you and Mr. Tips for the opportunity.
Mission Park is proud to support the Boys and Girls Club of San Antonio.
You know, and they supply so much affordable care for all of San Antonio, our entire community.
This past week, we helped honor the champion of that organization, Judge Nelson Wolf.
Let's take a listen to what Judge Wolf has to say about the Boys and Girls Club.
Well, it started quite a ways back. I was in Page Junior High School on the south side of San Antonio. And on the back side of where the football field was, across the street, Drexel Street, there was a Quonset hut. And that was the boys' club. Girls weren't in it then. And I used to box there, so I learned how to fight quite early. What was I, 14 years old, 13 years old, whatever. That didn't mean we should go out hitting people, but it does teach you that you have to fight for what you believe in. And it always helps in politics when you learn how to fight. And so it goes back to that. And then, you know, over the years, I've been very supportive of them. I helped them a lot when I was mayor and helped them when I'm here. You know, I think that's the foundation of our society, where it's headed. I believe we did something like $85 million in various sports parks all across the city, whether it's soccer or baseball. And then at the Boys and Girls, we helped out on a baseball field that they built there. They also did a great job during the pandemic at bringing kids together that didn't have internet connections at home and working with them, so we supported a lot of their programs. They've just got so many great programs that reach young people, a tremendous job they're doing, so history goes back quite a ways. I don't remember the year. I think I was mayor back then, probably in the 90s, and they nominated me and they accepted me as the National Hall of Fame for the Boys and Girls Club, and it was quite an honor and one that I hold in great esteem, and I thank them very much for that. You've accomplished a heck of a lot very young in life, and it set a strong foundation for you to be successful all through life. You'll never forget the things that you learned while you were with the Boys and Girls Club, your experiences, the people you met. You got a strong foundation, and I wish you the best in life. The Boys and Girls Club reaches so many youth here in our community today, and the worst thing you can be is have an idle youth. You want him or her to go somewhere where there be a good program, where they'll be safe and where they'll be secure, and you could make a better investment than giving to the Boys and Girls Club.
Thank you, Judge Wolf, for being such an inspiration to our entire city.
Dick, you've been working on an inspiring new project. Will you show us what's coming up at the Dominion Life Center?
Absolutely. Let's go. I want to welcome you to the Mission Park Life Center at Dominion, where we've done some beautiful things, some outstanding things, to where we can make life better for those who have had a life well lived. You know, a lot of people talk about celebrating life, and I understand that. But at Mission Park, we're doing it. Please take a look at what we're building for you. And it all starts with the dome. It's something that's iconic to Mission Park all over San Antonio. It's actually iconic all over the world. And what it symbolizes is that there's something out there that's better for our families, better for us to serve you, and to also have the ability to recognize where you're going and to have something that's 5-star. This is something that we feel that funeral service has needed for a long time. And at Mission Park, we're doing it. We're making it better. We're making it where it's a more enjoyable place to go to be able to have celebrations other than just funeral service, a wedding. It could be a birthday. It can be any kind of event that you want, but you want to go to some place that's nice and some place that's pretty. And by golly, we're doing that here at Mission Park. Welcome to one of our chapels at Mission Park Dominion. And the interesting and unique thing about this chapel is that it's as wide as it is long. And why did we do that? Very simple. Because you want to bring people closer to the front, closer to the family. You want to be able to seat up to 300 people in this room. You have natural lighting on the right, you have natural lighting on the left. It's not dark, it's not dingy, it's not gloomy. It's what you would expect in some place that's very nice to be able to celebrate not only a funeral, but a wedding or a special event of some kind. And as I said before, it seats in excess of 300 people. And the beauty of it is that for social distancing, we can arrange the room to be a multi-purpose room. We can allow as many people in as necessary. That again, keeps us all safe, no matter what our conditions are. Let me show you how this all started. You know, when we start something like this, the best way to do it is on paper. And we continue to improve and improve and improve on all these plans and all these facilities. And the artisans that we bring in now have a full detailed set of plans that we have approved in advance to be able to create such beauty. The reality of it is you have an ellipse dome in the front where the casket will sit or the event goes, and it has a beautiful, beautiful sound and echo that it's just gorgeous, quite frankly. You have Swarovski crystals that complement the entire facility. You have cut glass sconces. Our columns are even leaded glass. It's a beautiful facility in which for you to have a beautiful event. Now I'd like to show you our concierge area, and we're very proud of that. You know, now we're walking through a beautiful hall into our concierge living room. You know, because there's no question that people during a difficult time need to have a little TLC. A little tender loving care never hurt anything. And we're going to have this room set up where you have sandwiches, you have snacks, you have lemonade, iced tea, coffee, all the beverages that you can think of. Again, we just want to make this a little bit more of a comfortable experience for the families we serve. On all 4 sides of me are visitation suites. It's not a repose room or something that's small. I can't wait to show you the interior of these suites because they're extremely unique and they're one of a kind. Please follow me into one of these visitation suites and let me show you what these amenities are all about. I want to welcome you to one of our visitation suites, and there's 4 of these, and they're a little bit different, and they're especially different in this regard. Number one, the architecture, the molding, the trim, how beautiful everything is in this room is just, it's really stunning. You're going to have electronics on the wall over here so you can have a private video or something that you make or something that's comfortable for you at home. But really important is this right here. You know, when you're at home, what do you have? You have your own kitchen. Well, we have the same thing for you here with all the state-of-the-art accessories that will be in here, and you can bring things from your own house or we can have it catered through our concierge department. Again, that's your choice. The other thing that's completely different than any other facility that I've ever been in is you have your own private restroom. And again, instead of having to go outside while your guests are here, you have your own facility, again, to be used by the family only. Now, when you leave the living room area of your private suite, you actually have this room in here, and with these privacy doors, what it does is it closes off where the casket could be or the urn could be. And over here will be a beautiful piece of wood that will be elevated with a marble top, and it has lights underneath it. It has lights up above, and this is where the urn would sit. If it was a casket, the casket would sit right here. These windows will fog out, just like the windows on the privacy door itself. So this room gives you seclusion when you need it, or you can open it up and be with all your friends.
Let's take these last few moments to pay tribute to people we love.
Thank you for joining us today at the Alamo for this special Mission Park Cares.
Always remember that whenever you need us, we're just a phone call away.
Because as you know, at Mission Park,
It's our mission to care.